WNBA star Brittney Griner has pleaded guilty to drug possession and smuggling charges in her trial in Moscow. That's according to Russian media. In a court hearing, Griner said she acted unintentionally because she was packing in a hurry. Griner was detained back in February at Moscow's airport after vape cartridges with cannabis oil were found in her luggage. The former Olympian would travel to Russia during the WNBA offseason to play in their professional basketball league to supplement her income. She could face up to 10 years in prison, and her next hearing is set for July 14th. President Biden called Griner's wife, Cherelle Griner, and pledged that he's working to win her release as soon as possible. Still with me to talk about this latest news, criminal defense attorney Kara Lynn Abernathy in Atlanta and criminal defense attorney and civil attorney Jesse Lal in Atlanta. Kara, let me ask you about just your take on this case now that we have this pleading of guilty, according to reports, but the fact that the trial had started, it went with 2 witnesses being called, but really not any more information that we're getting out of what happened during the beginning of that trial.
I mean, there must have been something that happened there to lead to the, hey, maybe we can get more, I don't know if sympathy is the right word, but hey, I did this. It was an accident, but I did do it. You know, I'm not really sure why that would have happened in the middle, other than, you know, hey, this has got to be the way to go in terms of, you know, let's just try to get the best result possible for the long term.
Jesse, there's very little access there when it comes to the public and being able to know what happened in these proceedings. There was about a week ago a hearing that was a closed session, and out of it the reports were that she would be detained until December 20th, which to me didn't make much sense, because if she hasn't had her trial yet, how do they know how long she'll be detained? And then they had this trial. Does that concern you that we don't know a lot of what's going on there because of the differences in these legal systems?
Do you go to a foreign country, whether it is Canada, Costa Rica, Russia, Singapore, any places that you go to, you're supposed to try to understand the laws of those countries, or at least abide by them. I sympathize with Ms. Griner and her reasons for why that particular substance was in there. But yes, I'm not surprised that this was a closed hearing. I'm not surprised that they were going to detain her for what seemed like an arbitrarily long time. But that's the nature of these international judicial systems. We have no say in how they conduct their business. We have no say on how long they could hold or detain a person. What we have a say is putting in our support and hoping that the heads of our state, our country, will support our citizens in these various jurisdictions. And just like Carrier, I'm just shocked that whoever advised her to take that plea or to take that, put that admission of guilt, because now she's opened up herself to God knows what penalty they can impose upon her, because the sentence is up to 10 years.
An interesting thing about the Russian legal system compared to ours, if you're acquitted, if this judge had found, when they say that 99% of the prosecutions end with a conviction, but if she had been acquitted, they would have been able to retry her to try and get an acquittal again. So double jeopardy, not an option there, the issue of not having a double jeopardy. But let's take a listen to her wife, Cherelle Griner, who spoke about the political side of this, saying that she didn't even know how political pawns work, because there have been calls for there to be a prisoner trade when it comes to our 2 governments. Take a listen.
Do you trust that the maximum amount of effort is being put forward to bring BG home?
No, I don't. And I hate to say that, because I do trust that the persons working on this are very genuine people. That I do believe. But I don't think the maximum amount of effort is being done, because, again, the rhetoric and the actions don't match. You know, when you have a situation where BG can call our government, the embassy, 11 times, and that phone call don't get answered, you don't have my trust at that point until I see actions that are in BG's best interest. It would have been in her best interest for her phone calls to have been answered. It would be in her best interest for her to be back on U.S. soil. So until I see things like that, no.
It's again that emotional plea that we have heard from the wife of Brittney Griner. We'll continue to follow that story. We know that next trial is happening in July, or next hearing rather, perhaps to determine whether or not the sentence will be for a certain period of time.